Hey friends, this is Ian Khan at the Milken Global Conference 2025. I have Eric waiting with me from the Buck Institute. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How has the event been for you, Eric?
The event has been great. The longevity space in which I work is one of these disrupting field, especially for medicine. And I think it's my second time here, and we've seen the interest in the audience growing. So I think it's exciting to know that people are paying attention, and that this space, with all this potential, is going to see the light of day.
Of course. So within the longevity space, a lot is happening, from gut microbiome to connected technologies to many different things. What are you observing from where you are? What is it that we should look at?
So I think about it. Something happened in the 90s, mid-90s, a revolution of our understanding of what aging is and the identification of molecular targets. 20 years later, this was not a fluke. This actually is something that we've been learning in the last 20 years. We now have dials that allow us to tweak the rate of aging, to slow it down. And the promise of this is all work in animal models. The promise is that what is it going to do for humanity, for us, for your aging, my aging? And the reason why we see so much noise around the field right now is that we are starting to make inroads in really changing the way we age. First is lifestyle factors that we all know about, but the next step in the not so distant future are going to be drugs, novel medicine that will have the potential to alter the way we age.
Yeah, so when we look at aging, I see many new things happening. There's research on maybe a compound called NMNs, and everybody's looking into NMN. There's resveratrol. Okay, this is going to do something for me. And mitochondria should be energized, and DNA should be repaired. Eat more kiwis. Eat more kiwis. So I see a lot of different things. What is really incredible that you're seeing is actually good stuff? Hey, this is actually good. Help us, guide us into that space.
And I think you put your finger on a real problem in the field, is that there is hardcore science that is moving forward, but there's also a whole sphere of influencers and pseudoscience that's living around this field. What the audience should know is that today we don't have any supplement and we don't have any drugs that increase lifespan or health span. None of them proven. Now we have hints of things that, like you mentioned, NMN and maybe resveratrol and others, that might be effective, but I think it's going to take more work and more clinical trials to really prove that these are not only safe, but efficacious. And I tell people, until that day when we have proven supplements or proven medicine, the key is right now optimize your lifestyle, because we know that for sure can give you an extra 20 years of healthy life.
Yeah.
And 20 years is not negligible. So sleep, nutrition, physical activity, human connection, stress mitigation, these are all the things that we can work on.
One of the things, and we've covered this in a few episodes of our series before, is how AI is enabling the acceleration, whether it's drug discovery, whether it's eliminating the mouse model and doing different ways of testing a drug is working or not, and really reducing the time frame it takes from thinking, okay, we need a drug, to, hey, here's an actual drug, patient, please eat, right? That time frame is very long. FDA approvals are needed, many different approvals are needed. So that's part number one. Part number two is that we have a lot of other science in the world, from other healthcare systems, the Ayurvedas, the herbals, the many incredible things that talk about things that may not be in an FDA queue for approval. How do we balance this issue where something has been proven or used for hundreds of years, but now because we don't have approval, it's not in the system? How do we crunch this and deliver the cure?
Yeah. So really good point. First, AI in the longevity field plays an enormous role. In particular, an area which is relevant to the second part of your question, which is the whole idea of biomarkers of aging. If we start an intervention, we give you a supplement or a drug, how do I know, short of studying you for 20, 30, 40 years, whether it's working or not? This is where the biomarkers of aging are coming from. So we are in the process of sampling tens of thousands of variables in your blood, in the blood of subjects, and we're using AI to discern patterns that would allow us to say this is a biomarker of aging. Okay. So this is where the field is really focusing on now. What this will hopefully address is really what you identify as a critical need, is how do we accelerate the drug development program? And I think I'm convinced that there are some existing Ayurveda, Chinese traditional medicine therapies that are efficacious, haven't been proven. The strength of our medical system and drug development program is the fact that when we sell a drug from the FDA, you know it has been proven to have an effect. Yep. Sometimes small, but it is proven. Yep. The same cannot be said for many other therapies. So I think it's going to be a combination of merging these two worlds. AI to accelerate the discovery process, and an open mind to whatever else other forms of medicine can bring us.
Absolutely. We hear a lot about Ray Kurzweil, famous futurist and really incredible mind of our times. He talks about something called the human. I think it's called. He calls it humanity escape velocity. Yes. Right. For humans, which means we will be able to extend our life forms maybe 20, 30, 50, 100 years. We don't know yet. But it's possible, maybe after the next 20, 30, 50 years. We don't know yet. But do you think that could be possible? We will reach a time where we are able to double our life, our life by having the right interventions, by having the right markers and working on them. Where's the future headed over the next 20 years?
Yes.
20 years.
So the idea of the escape velocity is the idea that the progress in knowledge would be faster than the rate at which you're aging. Now, over the last 100 years, we have been gaining 2 years of extra life every 10 years.
Okay.
Now, escape velocity means getting 10 years every 10 years. I think I cannot read the future. What I can tell you is that this is not going to happen in the next 10 years or 20 years. Short of this, there's something really happening in terms of biology. Biology is accelerating because of AI, because of our knowledge. I grew up in the 70s. I had my first pocket calculator, which I thought was amazing. When you look now, we're all walking with a supercomputer in our pockets.
Of course.
Biology is today where technology was in the 50s or 60s. So I would say, I try to stay realistic, but at the same time modest in terms of what I do not know.
Yeah.
And if the science accelerates the same way it has for technology, I think all bets are open in terms of what we're going to be able to do 50 years from now. I think it probably will be spectacular. Yeah. I've made the point that this is the century of biology. Last century was a century of physics. This is the century of biology. So I'm incredibly optimistic and excited by what lies ahead.
I think one of the things that I'm now thinking about as we have this conversation is perhaps the only challenge. Let's say we got everything right. We've got the right drugs, we've got the right supplements, we've got the right regime. We know everything that's going to change our lives and make us better or whatever it is. I guess the only challenge would be how fast does our body heal? How fast does it react to different things? Because our body is not connected to AI, right? So the cells need to heal, the pain needs to go away. So I think that could be a major. It could be an interesting point where we are now thinking in the future. We have everything now. Let's wait for our body to heal. Now let's give it 2 days, 5 days, 10 days. I'm just thinking about that era, and I don't know how that will be. It's been interesting here at Milken to talk to different people about longevity and the science that's coming through. What are your thoughts for the next 5 years? And if you had a magic wand, what would you make happen with that magic wand or the next 5 years?
Two things. Next 5 years, I predict we will have a first approved drug against aging or one of its manifestations. So there's enough clinical trials that are ongoing that you can reason or predict the first one is going to happen. When that happens, it's going to open the floodgate. the investment community has still been a little bit reluctant or watching the whole field thinking, are these people for real? My prediction, next 5 to 10 years, we will see our first success, which I think will really transform the field. Now, what can you do today for this? Knowing, do not buy a supplement on Instagram or that you've heard from an influencer. No one has any proven supplement right now. So what can you do? Optimize your lifestyle. 20 years of extra life. And that 20 years, if you optimize it, will hopefully give you a chance to actually visualize the next wave, which is going to be the new drugs, new understanding of the process of aging. So,
excellent. Well, with that, thank you so much for participating in our interview series here at Milken Global Conference, and we'll continue to follow you and the Institute to see what's coming down the pipeline.
Thank you
so much,
me.
Eric. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely.